The following video clip was actually meant to be taken seriously.
Great secrets of the religious right's success actually has been their very long-standing, intimate relationship with free market fundamentalism. As Esther said, it's about allowing you that moral choice, but it's also about letting the invisible hand, God's invisible hand, literally run the market. And in as much as you interfere with that, you're sort of expressing a kind of humanist, secularist pride, as if you know better than God what his plan for the market is.
So, regulating the markets is secular humanism. That invisible hand of this clown's God reaching in to the economies of capitalist countries. And just as it's about to control the economies, along comes secular humanists. Bad, bad hand, bad, bad. If the gods wanted to control an economy, regulating the markets is not going to stop the gods at all.
I am the God of your fathers and your fathers' fathers.
Yeah, we've heard it all before.
Since before your sun burned hot in space, I was. Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, I've heard all that before, too. Some people...
I just want to say that the Republican Party is my party. Wait, please don't shoot. I have raised up John McCain to run the country of the United States and solve this problem.
Good luck with that. The so-called invisible hand that Adam Smith and his idiotic ilk claim runs capitalism is a bunch of bullshit, and they know it. According to these free market idiotic fucktards, no offense, the invisible hand is enlightened self-interest on the part of capital owners, people who own wealth. The claim is that people who own capital and run corporations will do the right, ethical, and moral thing because it is in their interest to do so. The people who make that claim, of course, do not believe it themselves, but they hope that other people will believe it. Never in the history of the entire human species has a free market and the invisible hand ever actually worked. And if you don't believe me, look at United States' current $11 trillion debt and the so-called $700 billion, quote, bailout, unquote, of the wealthy. Free markets do not work. We must have regulations. Same clowns that insist that a deregulated market is the best for the economy are the same ones that are filthy rich. Why do you suppose that is? Golly, I can't even imagine. Free markets do not work. If you don't believe me, look at the Great Depression. Look at the Enron scandal. Look at the bailout for the savings and loan scandal. Look at the BCCI scandal. All due to deregulations. And these clowns, some of them are now saying, well, golly, maybe we should regulate the market again. Fucking bastards. The most conservative, and I'm not making a pun, estimate on the United States debt at the moment is $9,858,291,000,000 and assorted change. Almost $10 trillion. And the most common estimate is $11 trillion. If you're talking in trillions, what's another trillion? Out of the 116 million households in the United States, our share of that debt comes to $85,000 per household to pay off that debt. That is before the $700 billion proposed bailout and corporate welfare. If you add that $700 billion, each household in the United States would then have a debt burden of $91,000 to pay off that debt. You're talking $10.5 trillion adding that $700 billion. Put that $700 billion into perspective. Last year, the United States government, federal government, took in approximately $2.092 trillion. $549 billion of that went to the military. $581 billion went to Social Security. $561 billion went to Medicare and Medicaid. $700 billion is enough to make sure that every United States citizen has some form of health insurance to cover the 40 million Americans that currently do not have that health insurance. Think of the $91,000 each household in the United States owes to pay off the federal debt. I could buy a pretty nice pickup for that. I could get medical care for the hand that I mangled, and I haven't been able to afford to get it fixed. I will never be able to afford to get my hand fixed. $700 billion is a bloody hell of a lot of money when it goes to social easements, which it will not. It will only go to wealthy corporations. And we are told that it's for our own good that we incur that debt onto ourselves. That $700 billion amounts to $6,034 per household of additional debt. Forget the $91,000 that each household owes the federal government. Just that $6,000 per household. Think of what you could do with that $6,000 that these bastards are proposing they will burden upon every single household in the United States. Fucking insane. And they know goddamn well that it's fucking insane, but I'm sure they're going to do it anyways.